Before we begin, let's look at the report of the WAS's Chief Examiner. The WAS's Chief Examiner's report highlights that students often struggle with understanding the basic concepts of the Internet, including its structure, protocols, and applications. A comprehensive e-learning module on the Internet will address these common challenges and help students grasp how this vital technology works.
How does the Internet work? The video you are watching now traveled thousands of miles from a Google data center to reach you. Let's learn how the Internet works by getting to understand the details of this data's incredible journey. The data center, which can be thousands of miles away from you, has your video stored inside it. How does this data reach your mobile phone or laptop?
class. I hope you are all doing well. You are welcome to this e-learning model. Before we begin, I would like to ask a question. Have you ever realized how we get connected to the world? Have you ever realized how we share information with one another? And have you also ever realized how we are being able to share information and a friend or maybe a family member or someone else who is able to access that information remotely? All right. I know you all have so many answers to give to this. Yes. So with this, I want one of you to tell me what this model is going to be talking about, or the content of the model. All right. I can see Bernard saying the model is about network. That's fine. Yes, another person. Okay. Linda is saying the model will be about communication. All right. Okay. Yes. Yes. Benjamin. Benjamin is about internet. All right. All of you have done well. Um, this brings us to look at what we call internet. And this model shall be taking us through internet. And in this model, you shall be looking at diverse kinds of uh, sections that we need to know as far as internet is concerned. So by the end of the model, you are supposed to cover the following. So by the end of the model, the learner will be able to give the history of internet. The learner should be able to give the global statistics and various terms associated to internet. After which, the learner will be able to mention some major successful projects as far as internet is concerned. Also, the learner will be able to present some future states of internet. Last but not the least, the learner will be able to give a brief conclusion or summary on the internet. So these are the objectives that you all are expected to cover up at the end of the model. Without time, let's take our time to watch this video, after which I'll ask you some few questions and what you have realized about the video. Okay, so let's use just some few minutes to watch the video. Okay, so once you, I would like you to write down some questions, because after watching the video, I need to ask you some questions. Okay, so let's continue from where we have gotten to. I would like to proceed with the video so that you can see and learn more about that.
long distances. The internet enables us to use computers to collect information from widespread sources and to connect with people. Let's learn how we can use the internet to gather information and communicate with distant users. The internet is a vast library of information. It is the largest network of computers. The internet has the ability to connect computers around the world. These are some of the benefits of the internet. We can access information stored on computers in different cities or countries. We can search for information on the computer. We can send messages or mail instantly to computer users around the world. We can conduct banking transactions on the computer without having to visit the bank. We can buy different goods without spending a lot of time visiting the market. Now answer this question. Which of the following is a website from where we can purchase something? Click the correct option. That's right. Amazon is an online shopping website.
Alright. Now you have watched a video and you can see a whole lot of. So I would like to ask you a question. What do we use internet for? Yes, that's all right. I know most of you are saying that we use internet to communicate with one another. That is all right. Some of you also say you need internet to go online. Okay, so now let's now go to look at the next section of this, which I would like you to watch another video. So without wasting my time, let's watch this video.
How does the internet work? The video you are watching now traveled thousands of miles from a Google data center to reach you. Let's learn how the internet works by getting to understand the details of this data's incredible journey. The data center, which can be thousands of miles away from you, has your video stored inside it. How does this data reach your mobile phone or laptop? Any way to achieve this goal would be with the use of satellites. From the data center, a signal could be sent to the satellite via an antenna. And then from the satellite, a signal could be sent to your mobile phone via another antenna near to you. However, this way of transmitting signals is not a good idea. Let's see why. The satellite is parked nearly 22,000 miles above the Earth's equator. So, in order for the data transmission to be successful, the data would have to travel a total distance of 44,000 miles. Such a long distance of travel causes a significant delay in receiving the signal. More specifically, it causes huge latency, which is unacceptable for most internet applications. So if this video does not reach you via a satellite, then how does it actually get to you? Well, it is done with the help of a complicated network of optical fiber cables, which connect between the data center and your device. Your phone could be connected to the internet via cellular data or any Wi-Fi router, but ultimately, at some point, your phone will be connected to this network of optical fiber cables. We saw at the beginning that the video you're currently watching is stored inside a data center. To be more specific, it is stored in a solid-state device within the data center. This SSD acts as the internal memory of the server. The server is simply a powerful computer whose job is to provide you the video or other stored content when you request it. Now, the challenge is how to transfer the data stored in the data center, specifically to your device, via the complex network of optical fiber cables. Let's see how done. Before proceeding further, we should first understand an important concept, which is the concept of an IP address. Every device that is connected to the internet, whether it is a server, a computer, or a mobile phone, is uniquely by a string of numbers known as an IP address. You can consider the IP address similar to your home address. That is, the address that uniquely identifies your home. any letter sent to you precisely because of your home address. Similarly, in the internet world, an IP acts as a shipping address through which all information reaches its destination. Your internet service provider will decide the IP address of your device, and you are able to see what IP address your ISP has given to your mobile phone or laptop. The server data center also has an IP address. The server stores a website, so you can access any website just by knowing the server's IP address. However, it is difficult for a person to remember so many IP addresses. So to solve this problem, domain names like youtube.com, facebook.com, etc. are used which correspond to IP addresses, which are easier for us to remember than the long sequence of numbers. Another thing to notice here is that a server has the capability of storing several websites, and if the server consists of multiple websites, all the websites cannot be accessed with the server's IP address. In such cases, additional pieces of information, host headers, are used to uniquely identify the website. However, for the giant websites like facebook.com or youtube.com, the entire data center infrastructure will be dedicated to the storage of the particular website. To access the internet, we always use domain names instead of the complex IP address numbers. From where does the internet get IP addresses corresponding to our domain name requests? Well, for this purpose, the internet uses a huge phone book known as DNS. If you know a person's name but don't know their telephone number, you can simply look it up in a phone book. The DNS server provides the same service to the internet. Your internet service provider or other organizations can manage the DNS server. Let's have a recap of the whole operation. You enter the domain name. The browser sends a request to the DNS server to get the corresponding IP address. After the IP address, your browser simply forwards the request to the data center, more specifically to the respective server.
Alright.
Once
We will pause the video here. As you go through the model, you will get to understand more about the concept. With the video you have watched, you can see clearly that there are a series of communication that takes place in the cloud that end up giving us results. So, as we can see clearly in the video, we have what we call the IP address. The IP is basically referring to Internet Protocol. So this therefore means that before devices are able to communicate with one another, then they should be able to communicate with one another by the use of the IP address. Now, this model, I will not touch on the different types of IP addresses we have, but one of the things you should take notice about in this model is that now when we talk about IP addresses, most people do wonder what IP address means, and they even wonder what a domain name is. Now, my website domain name is called tjvitalsource.com. Now, this tjvitalsource.com is a domain name. So, it is very easy for someone, a customer, to be able to keep tjvitalsource.com than keeping series of numbers like 192.128.6.1. So with the number I've mentioned, that is an IP address. So every domain name or every website is traceable to an IP address. But to make us be able to remember the website of a particular company, then we need to get the IP address transcribed into a text called domain name, and that makes it very easy to remember. So that is the essence of an IP address. So every device is having an IP address, and every site or every domain name is having an IP address. But because of the complication of keeping a long string of numbers or long integers of numbers rather, that is why there is a need to have this thing called the domain name. So before devices are able to communicate, they need to use what we call the IP addresses. Okay, let's proceed to look at for the aspect of the history about the internet. You can see in the model, you can see clearly that the internet was involved from you can see the year by which the the internet was evolved, that is somewhere 1962, where we used to call access information in electronic form. So electronic form, accessing information in electronic form is basically what we are talking about internet here. In 1957, the USA and Soviet Union war. That is when the launch of the Sputnik satellite. Now the original internet was known as the ARPANET. That was somewhere internet progresses into 1970s, where we continue in that order to grow in the 1980s, where innovations in packet Ethernet, UUCP, and that of the SANET came up. Somewhere in 1985, the big event of the 1985 we'll be talking about. And the internet and the early 1990s, what word uses. It was in the 1990s the World Wide Web, which we call the WWW, was introduced. Now, when we look at somewhere, we have the first mainstream search engine. We have search engine. When we talk about search engine is basically referring to services that allow a user to be able to access information globally or on the internet. We have the web browser and we have a search engine. The web browser is the application itself that allow the user to be able to search for information on the internet. For example, we have the Google Chrome. So when you get a Google Chrome, you use the Google Chrome, it is a web browser. But the Google Chrome is not a search engine. So let's take notice of that. So the first mainstream search engine was created as a Yahoo, and it continues. So later on, we have so many applications for the internet use. So that's one of the things you have to take notice of when it comes to the history of the internet. So we're also going to look at the history of internet, that India, which was introduced in 1995, the cyber cafe fashion. Bank launched the online banking site in the year 1997. So when we look at it, major phase of Indian internet as a creator of the Hotmail, that was where this thing we call the Hotmail came. That was somewhere in 1997. So then we have the first hacking case reported in the 1998, where the data of the bank was hacked. After the millennium, it started online journalism, online travel. The cybercrime police station started in 2001 in the Garden City. In 2005, Indians became the 4% of the total worldwide net users. So it is not surprising that when we look at the whole of the world, Indians are very good in IT. So let's take notice of that. Yeah. Now we are moving straight to look at the global statistics of the internet. And when you look at it, we read that the internet users back at 2012 we have 2.4 billion as global. The India alone was having 137 million. So it goes that way. Then when we look at the smartphone users, we will have 1.1 billion globally. So these are just some few statistics mentioned as far as this model is concerned. All right. So now let's look at the various internet terms. We have the web and we have the internet itself. We have the HTTP, that is the hypertext protocol. And we have the hypertext protocol SKU. Now the hypertext protocol and the hypertext protocol SKU, they are terms that are similar, but when you see a website that have is so let's say that begins with HTTP without an X, it means that particular site is not secured. So we have the secured socket layer. Secure socket layer, that's SSL. So when you are visiting a site and you realize it is not having S attached to the HTTP, you should know that that site is not secured. So information submitted or your data being sent there are most likely to be endangered. And then we also have the HTML, the hypertext markup language. When we look at, we have what we call the web technology. And then we say that it is process by which computers communicate with one another by the use of the hypertext markup language. So the HTML is a hypertext markup language which enables devices to communicate with one another over the internet. Yeah, so we also have the email, we have the blog, the social media, the ISP, as Internet Service Protocol, ICANN, and we have the INA, the range, then the undersea cables. I remember I think some months back, where MTN were having their service being down, these cables were having problem. So that is to tell you how powerful internet is. Yeah, so having looked at all some images, or we are going to look at some major successful internet projects. That's the search engine, the mailing, social networking, text message transfer, and online shopping, and online banking. So these are just some major internet projects that we have to look at. Now, with the explanations attached to each of the projects, I would like you to go through the model. And you will see that I've indicated all the explanations for each project under the internet. Now we are going to look at the present. The role of the internet today have to do with the communication channel, the hybridization, and viewpoint. So that is yes. So having taken you through the concept, or having taken you through the content of this model, I would like to take these five assessment questions. Test your understanding level of the whole model. The questions are 5. There are multiple choices. You select the right answer. If the answer is wrong, then you can see that you need to revisit the model and get more understanding about the model. So let's begin. So having completed the assessment, you will be able to know whether you really understand the concept or not. If you don't understand the concept, you really have to revisit the model and come back and complete this assessment. Thank you for taking part to understand more about this model. Meet you to look at 5 major sections or objectives of the model. And the major ones are 4. First of all, the model we shall be looking at the history of internet. So by the end of the lesson, the learner will be able to give the history of internet. The second thing the learner will be able to do is to give the global statistics and various terms of internet. After which, the learner should be able to mention the major successful projects as far as internet is concerned. Now, the model will also take the learner through so many ways by which the learner will be able to present the future state of the internet. Last but not the least, the learner should be able to give a brief conclusion on the internet. So these are the major sections by which this model will take the learner through. So, I waste my time. Let's get to the next slide of the model.
We use computers to communicate with people over long distances. The Internet enables us to use computers to collect information from widespread sources and to connect with people.
Let's learn how we can use the internet to gather information and communicate with distant users. The internet is a vast library of information. It is the largest network of computers. The internet offers the ability to connect computers around the world. These are some of the benefits of the internet. We can access information stored on computers in different cities or countries. We can search for information on various topics. We can play games on the computer. We can send messages or mail instantly to computer users around the world. We can conduct banking transactions on the computer without having to visit the bank. We can buy different goods without spending a lot of time visiting the market. Now answer this question. Which of the following is a website from where we can purchase something? Click the correct option. That's right. Amazon is an online shopping website.
I'm going to take you through what network is, what WAN is, what LAN is, what internet is. Now, when we look at the word network, we are basically referring to the connection of network devices to facilitate or to control the exchange of data and information. Now, from this diagram, you can see clearly that we have different network devices that are being connected together. And these network devices are connected in different forms. We have the WAN. The WAN is the World Area Network that connects network devices globally. Then we also have what we call the LAN. The LAN have to do with local area network. Now, the local area network is a network connection that is within a specific jurisdiction. It is not extended, it's just within a simple area. For example, a network connection within a classroom is a local area network. The internet itself. The internet have to do with the global World Wide Web of interconnected devices. So that is what we mean by the internet here. And mostly when we talk about internet, we are basically referring to something that is online. Now all these devices that we are seeing here are network devices. Now we have different forms of the way this network connected, and that is why we have to talk of network topology. And we have different forms of network topology. We have the star topology, we have the tree topology, we have the hybrid and minimal. So as we can see clearly in this video, that's the network architecture, and that is how the network devices are being connected. So in our next section, we shall be looking at other sections of the internet.
Well
Click the
done
Get
for
Started
completing
button
this
to
course.
begin now.
Now let's test your understanding in this course. Please kindly answer the following questions.